and welcome back to the Dental Hygiene Basics podcast. My name is Dana. I'm your host. Today, I have a smoky, sexy voice because I have been sick. Yeah, that's life, but we continue, we push on. I'm feeling better today, and I have so much that I want to talk to you guys about. So I got a great listener question. Someone messaged me on socials, and I thought, what a great opportunity for me to take this question and share it on the podcast, and also give some tips and tricks, some things to consider about, taking jobs whenever you are in dental hygiene school. So the student reached out and said, should I take a dental assisting position at the college where I'm going to be studying dental hygiene? Some people were telling her it was a wonderful idea. Some people were telling her it was a terrible idea. And she reached out to me, and I just thought that was so kind that she trusted me and my opinion. So anyways, I'll tell you a little bit about what I recommended to her. So first things first, when you get into dental hygiene school, just know that if you can't work, it's okay. And there's some people out there who have to work, right? We all have different things going on in our lives. Some people have to work to get through. Some people, they maybe can't work, okay? Because of how much pressure and strain, right? We are all different human beings. So we should all take our own path and be okay with our own path. So for example, when I was in dental hygiene school, personally, I was so stressed out. Okay. I really was struggling mentally. I had really bad anxiety, and juggling anything additional would have been asking too much for me personally. Listen, I don't have children. I did not have children going in dental hygiene school. It was just me, basically like I was the only thing I really had to worry about. And it was still extremely difficult for me to manage that level of stress. I did have some other things on my plate. I was involved in a lot of different clubs and things like that. I was the president of the Student Dental Hygiene Association. So yes, I did have a lot on my plate, and I really wanted to excel. So that's where I put my time and my focus. However, I did need a little bit of money. So when I could, I would take some kind of off jobs. Actually, I cleaned a person's house one day a week. It was 2 hours, and I got paid $30 for those 2 hours. And that was my gas money for the week. Gas was a little bit cheaper then than it is now. I also would do research studies. And if you're going to a university, or if you live near a place that has a research facility, sometimes they just need you to come in for an hour or two, and you get paid 50, $100, or a grocery store gift card. I got those too. So I did that several times throughout the program just to get some quick cash here and there. Over the summers, I would work a little bit, temp a little bit here and there. But throughout the main bulk of the program, I was really not holding down any type of like regular, consistent job. Okay. That was what I needed to do. So because I knew I wasn't going to be able to work, I really put in a lot of effort on scholarship applications, things like that. Right. Now, you may need to work, and that is totally fine. There are plenty of ways to make money as a dental hygiene student or as a student in general. And you just have to be able to juggle that, right? If you've been listening to the podcast long enough, you know that we've shared many stories of people who have worked through dental hygiene school and who have come out on the other end successful. But you don't want to do it at the expense of sacrificing your degree. Okay. Because if you're spending so much time working that you can't focus on your studies and you're barely scraping by, it may end up costing you more money in the long run, right? You may end up failing a board exam and having to pay to take it again, or you may end up having to leave the program and then come back and start over. I've seen these things, which is why I mentioned them. So this is what I want you to do if you're considering taking a job in dental hygiene school. The first thing I want you to do is just ask yourself, do I really need to do this, right? Like, can I get by without it? If you can, okay, great. Maybe you don't need to worry about it. And I don't want you to feel guilty because you're not working. You are doing something significant and taking a significant step forward in your life, and you're working towards your career. It's okay to put all of your energy and focus into that. For this question that I got asked, I'll tell you the advice that I recommended. Basically, I think the problem with the question that I was asked here is the student thought maybe this is a good opportunity. And sometimes opportunity will come up, and it's great opportunity. And you think, I should take this because it's a really good opportunity, right? I'll be teaching, I'll be making money. This would look good on a resume. That, I think, is where the student was a little bit locked in, and maybe like, maybe I should take it. Maybe it would be a good opportunity for me. But I asked the student, I said, I want you to go sit in a dark room. Okay. Maybe a closet, turn off all the lights, somewhere where you won't be interrupted for maybe just 5-10 minutes. Okay. I want you to go into a very dark, quiet room, completely quiet, no distractions. And I want you to take a few deep breaths. And then I just want you to ask yourself, do I want to take this opportunity? Or should I take this opportunity? Whatever your intuition immediately tells you. And if you get really good at listening to yourself, your intuition will tell you from the start what you should do. The problem is many of us don't listen to our intuition, but it is a skill that I've been working on honing on for several years. And I've learned that if I follow my intuition, it will never lead me astray because intuitively I know what I should and should not be doing. So I asked the student, I said, this is what I recommend. Report back. Let me know what you think. Because in their mind, I think they were concerned. They're giving up an opportunity, right? Like I've been given this offer to work in this position. And if I leave it behind, will I regret it? Right? Maybe that was going to open some doors for me. Or maybe, I'll realize later, oh my gosh, I should have taken it. Maybe all those things will happen. But in the moment, if you don't trust your own internal judgment, you'll usually end up on the other end where you're like, I knew I shouldn't have done this. I should have listened to myself. I knew better, but I did it anyways. Right. And that's usually where we see more regrets. Okay. So I asked her, I said, report back. Tell me what you think. And when they reported back, they said, I decided to kindly decline the offer and focus on just dental hygiene school. And I thought that that was a great decision for that person specifically because they made the choice and they chose what was best for them. I've had this come up a lot lately in my life where I've gotten myself into situations that I knew I either should have gotten out of sooner or I didn't quite listen to that intuition well enough the first time. Recently, I had someone reach out to me and give me this very, very interesting pitch, right? And saying there could be all this money involved with it and all these things. And I got off the phone and I looked at my husband. I said, I'm going to tell you this right now because I should not do this. Okay. I should not be doing whatever this person is that they're recommending. I don't know why, but it doesn't feel right. I said, I'm going to need you to remind me that when they try and come back and offer me money, right? Because if they offer me a lot of money, it's going to be hard to walk away. If they offer me a huge opportunity, something that could change my career, it's going to be hard to walk away. But I know in that moment, that I knew that whatever was presented to me is not going to be right for me. I could feel it from the get-go. A lot of times in the past, I would not have listened to that. I would have pushed ahead. I would have said yes. There's something to be said about leaving the door open for opportunity, but not every opportunity is the right one for you. And not every opportunity is the right one for you at the season of life that you're in. Okay. Right now, if that person had taken that instructing position while going into dental hygiene school, they may not have been able to be their best self for either the dental hygiene program or that instructor position. And it may have ended up causing more harm than good in the long term, right? Especially if those thoughts were brewing underneath, like maybe this isn't right for me. I think so often we're presented with choices in our life. And a lot of times people think they don't have choices, but we have choices and we can make choices every day. And when we're given choices, what do we usually do? We go straight and ask somebody else. We defer. This person said, they said, some people have been telling me this, some people have been telling me that. We instantly go and we talk to other people about it. That's not a bad thing. That's what support systems do. Those are how decisions can be made, right? But I think it's really important before you have a conversation with somebody else around it, check in with yourself and really ask yourself, how do I feel about it? So what I told them, I said, listen to the first thing that your body tells you when you go sit in that quiet space and you ask yourself that question. Listen to what your body says. Don't ponder over it. Okay. Don't sit there for 20 minutes and keep thinking about it because what's your brain going to do? It's going to start cycling through all the pros and the cons, right? Whereas if you just listen to that intuition, you can just let it go and not have to worry about it anymore. I tell students this a lot when they're getting ready to take their board exams. Sometimes, especially if the student has been unsuccessful, they may say, am I ready to take it again? And I'll say, listen, only you can make that decision. If you go somewhere and you get really quiet, let's say that your test is scheduled in a month. I want you to get really quiet and ask yourself, do I really think I'll be ready in a month to take this exam? You'll know, right? If you haven't been putting in the effort or if you're really struggling with the material or if you're like, oh God, I don't think I'm ready. That's okay. Give yourself more time. I want you to get more comfortable trusting your instincts and your intuition, but you have to be careful because when you give yourself too much time to think about something, you'll usually let fear take over. Okay. So listen to that first initial gut reaction, engage with it, and trust yourself. If you're going back and forth between two different things, just ask yourself, what does my gut instinct tell me? Right? Go with it. Same thing. If you're taking an exam and you have two different answer choices and you're like, I don't know why I think it might be this one, but maybe it could be this one. Go with the gut instinct. Do not choose the other option unless you have irrefutable evidence that you were wrong, that you chose, like that you read it incorrectly or that you were missing some information to truly answer that question, right? The gut instinct is so much stronger than we realize. Okay. All right, guys. This episode, as always, sometimes they get a little off the wall. I'm kind of really enjoying my Monday episodes that are just getting a little wild and weird here where we talk about these different concepts. But if you're struggling with something, I would love to know. I would love to know, like, if you're on the fence between two things or if you should do something or shouldn't do something, try listening to your intuition more. Okay. This also plays into body awareness. We've talked about this a lot on the podcast, but as a society, we've really kind of stepped away from our bodies. We ignore our hunger. We ignore when we're tired. We push through, even though we know we should take a break, right? The more you start checking into your body, the better life is. I can say that with certainty. It's anecdotal evidence because it's all things that I've been doing in my own life, but try it out. Let me know how it goes. I would love it. Send me a message this week. Like if you've had something you've been pondering between, let me know what decision you made. And then I want you to feel really confident in that decision. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Best of luck on your journey. Future registered dental hygienist.